And so the thing about dating with my afro is that I actually haven't done it yet. Yeah. In the year that I've been wearing my hair in an afro like this, I have not been asked on any dates. I've not been taken on any dates. The approach I got in person the last time was like a man like screaming in my face, so that obviously didn't go anywhere. And I think the afro obviously intimidates men. It gives them like black power girl, and yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. So I'm not mad that I scare men off because if you're scared, stay scared. Fuck. Like, I'm not gonna make you feel comfortable around me if you're not comfortable around me. Like, the fuck? But in saying all that, I've reached a peak where it's like, a girl is getting lonely. A girl has been lonely. Like, where are the men? Not scared, not intimidated, confident, open, funny, cute, tall, handsome, beard, and nice hairline, nice teeth, at least 6'2". Just the little thing.
I don't really understand women and their emotions when they come onto this app. Of course, I know that in real life it's completely different. For instance, there's no one out there who isn't working to make themselves attractive or trying to get attention from the kind of person they want to be with. People make efforts to attract the ones they want, right? So, when a woman comes on here and says something like this, I take away a few things from it. First, you can't say one thing and then expect something completely different. I know the theme of this video is about dating in LA, black women, and all that, but the point I'm making is simple. You can't say black power and if you're scared, it's a problem, and then wonder where the men who aren't scared are. People have preferences, and that's fine. It doesn't change the fact that she's beautiful. She's naturally pretty, no doubt about it. But when I see her, it's not about criticizing. It's just being honest from a man's perspective. I'm someone who's not afraid of anything. I'm successful and I'm out there living my life. Right now, I'm in Manchester. Just flew here from Detroit yesterday. I understand how people feel worldwide because I'm constantly out and about. And when I look at her, I'm not intimidated. I get a headache. The attitude, the energy she puts out. It's not fear, it's just a bad vibe. It's not an inviting energy. It's more of a don't bother me kind of vibe. I think many guys, not all, but a lot of them, would feel the same. It's not that she's not beautiful. She is, but the way she presents herself, the way she communicates, and the vibe she gives off screams angry, feminist, black woman energy. She's sending out a hear me roar vibe, and that's not what a lot of guys want. No one wants to feel like they're constantly walking on eggshells around someone. It's not right or wrong, it's just the reality. I would imagine that people in LA probably feel the same way, maybe even more intensely. If she's saying she hasn't dated, or isn't getting approached because of her hairstyle in LA, then that's a different issue. You can't expect people to accept your preferences while also rejecting theirs. You can't say you're not interested in a certain type of guy, but then wonder why you're not meeting the right one. I'm not judging anyone's preferences. Everyone has their type, and that's perfectly fine. Some guys like a certain type of woman, others have different tastes, and women should have their preferences too. But at the same time, it's important to recognize that the energy you put out can affect your chances of meeting someone who's a good match for you. When you project a certain type of energy, when you communicate in a certain way, and then on top of that, have a list of preferences, you are narrowing your chances. You're basically limiting yourself. The real question she needs to ask herself isn't, where are all the men? The real question should be, what's wrong with me? It's a tough question, but it's an honest one. If she's feeling like she's not getting approached or hasn't dated in a while, it's not necessarily about the guys in LA. It's about the energy and attitude she's putting out, combined with how she communicates her preferences. Maybe she would thrive in a different environment, somewhere outside of LA, where things are less complicated. But in the spaces she's in, if she's saying she's not meeting anyone, it's not about the men, it's about the vibe she gives off and how she's presenting herself. You can't expect others to meet your preferences if you're not willing to meet theirs. At the end of the day, the real issue here is her mindset. It's the way she communicates, the energy she projects, and how she presents herself. That's the root of the problem.
These are reasons why I hated staying in LA as a black woman. First one, where do the black people be hanging out at? I stayed in LA for 7 years, still never found out. The black men are not checking. or the black women in LA, especially if you dark skinned. I never met black men to openly say they don't deal with black women in South LA. Like I never, maybe they was saying it before, but they never would say it out loud to another black woman. When I first moved to LA, I'm not gonna lie, I've always had very high confidence and self-esteem, but when I moved to LA, maybe like that first year or 2 years, it did like really mess up my confidence and self-esteem because I never was in a position where I was always looked over by men, or men always just wants to assist me. Like, never had that happen to me before, like in life. Then of course I went back down to the South and I realized it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Then I just met other black women that felt the same way in LA. It is a lot of posers and fake and facade in LA. In LA, don't nobody got a job. And everybody think they somebody.
A lot of women try to act like they're doing things just for themselves or that they simply enjoy it. But the truth is, they do it for attention, specifically from men. That attention becomes a source of energy for them, almost like their aura farming. It's not just about doing things for themselves, it's about how others react to them. And that's a key factor in their confidence. When a woman says her confidence was shaken because no men, especially black men in LA, showed interest in her, that doesn't mean she's unattractive. It doesn't mean she can't attract someone. The issue is that the men she was interested in weren't interested in her. That's when her confidence got hit. But from my experience, I've never seen a man whose confidence would be shattered just because women weren't showing interest, especially if he wasn't in a relationship or talking to anyone. A confident man knows who he is, regardless of external validation. For many women, confidence often comes from the approval of others. It doesn't matter how they look. If they're not getting the attention or validation they want, they may conclude that it's because of something like their skin tone, like being dark skinned. But I don't think that's the main issue at all. There are so many factors at play. Without clear feedback saying it's because of her skin tone, how can she automatically assume that's the reason? It could be anything from her attitude, the places she hangs out, to just the fact that people aren't in the mood for that anymore. I think a lot of guys these days are more focused on themselves. Unless you're giving them a clear, forward-facing signal, almost to the point of approaching them yourself, they're just chilling. They have options, and more than ever before, they have choices when it comes to women. Men, regardless of their background or appearance, are in a position where they have more options than ever. That's starting to show. Women are losing confidence because guys aren't chasing them like they used to. They're not tripping over them anymore, and that's a shift that's becoming more apparent in how people interact.
I was visiting last week and we went out to a party. Cute as fuck. The music was great. Beautiful people everywhere. Beautiful black people everywhere. I'm in LA. She's coming from New York. Me and my girls, whenever we go out, we got a time. We dance. We're cute and we dance. So it's like, it's not like you don't see us. And she made a comment where she was like, these guys are just standing around looking at us. Like, why is no one approaching? And some other girls overheard and butted in and was like, that's what LA niggas do. They just look. We started this whole thing of like, they want to be approached or they expect to be, like, I don't know what it is. I've only been out here a year. That is very much the sentiment of a lot of parties where there's gorgeous women everywhere. There's beautiful men, but they're not approaching. And, you know, we had a little discussion about that. To add to that, there is this feeling where, like, in a regular discourse that, like, black men are not checking for black women in LA. I do think that's true. However, I just left Leimert Park. I go to a cafe over here at least once a week. I'm wearing a t-shirt, some shorts, hairs in twists. Like, I don't feel ugly, but I'm not like doing my big one or anything. If you need a boost, or if you feel like you are not beautiful and want to be around people of color and black men and women, come down to Leimert Park. Do not be scared to go south of the 10 because I feel so beautiful. I feel so beautiful. This man literally was like, hey, let me just tell you, you got natural hair and you're pretty. Good job. And like, not that I'm chasing for men's affirmation, but in a city like LA where there are beautiful people everywhere, where I'm attracted to Black men and want to feel seen and admired, like maybe you need to switch up and go in places where you're loved and seen and appreciated. Lamert Park is a special place, and I heard about that before I even moved out here. Whether it's just finding community, whether it's sitting in a coffee shop and seeing and meeting other creatives in the space, but also to walk down and be admired in like regular, like not even doing too much, feels nice. It feels really nice.
Yo, why do women need constant confirmation to feel pretty? Why do they need a boost from others? Why do they have to aura farm, constantly seeking attention or validation from others to feel sufficient in society? It's like they need someone else's energy just to feel good about themselves. Why is that the case? Let me know what you guys think in the comments about Black women saying that dating in Los Angeles is tough. Is it the environment, or are there other factors at play? Do women need external validation more than they realize, or is there something deeper?